100 gig Ethernet and OTU4 both have got something to do with 100 gigabit signals, but they are fundamentally different. If you want to find out what the differences are, stick around and we'll check it out. At first glance, 100 gig Ethernet and OTU4 are doing the same thing. They're moving around data at 100 gigabit per second. But they're actually at two different layers of the network, and more importantly, they are designed for two completely different jobs. Let's start out with Ethernet. Ethernet is the client signal, and it's at the MAC layer 2 of the network. It's defined by the IEEE, and it is used between routers, switches, and servers. Now, the job of Ethernet is to move around the data packets within the network in a very efficient way. It is packet-based, and it sort of has this best effort delivery because it doesn't have a built-in error correction. On the contrary, Ethernet actually doesn't know if the data packet actually arrives at the destination. That is then taken care of a higher level within the network. So for example, TCP, which monitors the packets and also then initiates the retransmit of a lost or corrupted data package. So Ethernet is also then ideal for shorter distances. Now OTU4, on the other hand, that is a transport signal, and it's at the layer 1 of the network. It's defined by the ITU-T as part of the optical transport network, or short OTN group of specifications. And oh, by the way, OTN is the successor of the synchronous digital hierarchy, or short SDH/SONET. And OTN, the job of OTN is for long distance transport. Now OTU itself is the digital wrapper for the client signals, and in the case of OTU4, that digital wrapper is 100 gigabit in size. And these digital wrappers, so the OTU digital wrappers, they include a very sophisticated forward error correction, as well as monitoring and management in the overhead of that packet. So OTU is then, what we then end up with is a very resilient signal that is then ideal for long distance transport. Now, there is also a big difference between OTN and OTU, which I just want to embroider upon. So OTN, Optical Transport Network, that is the umbrella term for this wrapping technology, but it has got nothing to do and doesn't say anything about the data rate. That is then where we've got the OTU, so the Optical Transport Unit, comes into play, and that is always combined with a number. So OTU4 is 100 gigabit, OTU3 is 40 gigabit, and that then defines or specifies the size of the digital wrapper. And the other very important thing to know about OTN is that the client signals that it can wrap together, that's not just limited to Ethernet. On the contrary, there's a whole range of different signals we can wrap. So we can also wrap fiber channel, SDH, SONET, CPRI, eCPRI, SDI, so the video broadcasting format, and other OTU signals. Now there are many more things we could embroider upon we're talking about OTN, but that's maybe a different brain snack video. So to conclude, 100 gig Ethernet is a client signal. It's at the layer 2, it's packet based, it's got no forward error correction, and it is for shorter distances. Whereas OTU4, that is a transport wrapper, in this case for 100 gigabit, and it's at layer 1, it's got a built-in very sophisticated forward error correction, and it is designed for longer distances. So, I hope you learned something today and that you enjoyed this video. If so, please leave a comment. And of course, remember to follow our channel so you get your regular dose of brain snack. Until next time, bye bye.